Will Porsha and Shamea rekindle their friendship? Will Drew and Ralph ever get a divorce? Will Kelly pay her bills? Will Kelly open her restaurant? Will Shamea stop being a lapdog? Will Charles show up for Angela and act as if he likes her? Will Phaedra have a storyline? Will Porsha film in her house? Will Porsha get back with Dennis? Will Cynthia be back as another best friend to the show? Will K. Michelle come in and shake some tables? Ah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is TammyTalks. We are here today to talk the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 20, The Reunion, Part 3. We did not need 3 parts to this. We did not, but we got it, all right? If you guys are brand new to the channel or if you have been here all season, shout out to y'all. Thank you so much. We've had an amazing season. I had a good time with you guys. I feel like you guys had a good time here. The views were viewing. The comments were adjacent. But we had a really good time this season. If you have made it this far and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up the video if you enjoyed this particular piece of content, and then leave your comments down below. So we know that K. Michelle is rumored to be joining the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. I know Pinky is rumored as well. I don't think that is as controversial as K. Michelle is. We know that Kenya is not going to be returning to the Housewives. I read on TV Deets that it is solely because of this lawsuit, and when the lawsuit stuff blows over, Kenya will probably be back. I think the fact that Andy read Kenya's statement at last week on the reunion part 2, her Twitter statement, that kind of lets me know that she doesn't have a horrendous relationship with Bravo right now, and that she will probably be back in some capacity. I see Kenya being on like Traders or something like that soon, and then they're going to just weave her back into the show. But let's talk about this, all right? So Porsha and Shamea are still arguing. It's tense. It's crazy. It's riveting. Let's talk about it. So Porsha is we pick up right where we left off at the last reunion, where Porsha said, Shamea, you're lying. Shamea said, do you not think that you've been lying too? Are you admitting that you've been lying, Shamea? Like, the way Shamea has been having a horrific reunion is crazy. Oh, girl. Wowza. All right. So Porsha talks about how the issue with their mothers. So this is what we can gather from this, okay? So according to Porsha, her mother, Miss Diane, is that her mama name? Porsha's mother owned a daycare. The daycare went into foreclosure, okay? Shamea's mother swooped in and bought it as soon as it was available. The only way that Porsha and her mother found out is because as they drove by, they saw Porsha's mother's sign being taken down and Shamea's mother's sign being put up. According to Shamea, they had not spoken for years prior to that happening. Porsha said, well, that's not it. There were some other things that happened as well. Andy said, well, look, we ain't gonna get into the mama's business. And everybody on stage agreed, like, yeah, don't get into the mama's business, okay? So Porsha said, well, I have not been talking behind Shamea's back about her, but Shamea has been. And I know that a lot of y'all have been in the comments saying, no, Shamea hasn't. Yes, she has, y'all. Okay, whether Angela is asking Shamea, whether Drew is asking Shamea, whether Britt is asking Shamea, Shamea has clearly said things about Porsha, about her relationship, about her friendship with Porsha to the other ladies, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Even if I don't start off a conversation, even if I don't ignite the drama or whatever, I'm partaking in it. And that's the part that Shamea refuses to take accountability for. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if Angela asked you about your friendship with Porsha, you were still comfortable enough to talk cash shit about Porsha. You know what I mean? That's the problem. And I don't understand why Shamia does not understand that. That's a little alarming to me. Cynthia said that Britt is the one that told Portia that Shamia was showing text messages. So Portia said that their relationship was fine before the show. It's not that it was fine, Portia. It was fine for you. Your relationship, your friendship was fine for you because Shamia wasn't being honest with you about how she has felt in this friendship. Shamia apologizes for talking to these specific ladies, referencing Angela and Drew, because they basically told Portia what she was saying. Drew said, "Look, we didn't ask you anything, and I didn't run back and tell Portia anything that you have said." Portia said, "Look, there are people within our personal friendship group that has said that Shamia was telling people that Portia did not want her on the show and that Portia did not call or congratulate her about a peach." I'm gonna be real with y'all, Shamia. What did you want? What did you want Portia to say? I guess that's the thing. Did you want her to send over a bushel of peaches? Like, I don't understand. Outside of, because I mean, truth be told, a couple of days ago, or maybe it was last week after part two aired, Portia reposted that she did indeed congratulate Shamia publicly. I don't understand what Shamia wanted. Like, Shamia, girl, you wanted to peach that damn bad. I don't like. Do I think that Portia may have had a twinge of that you were coming to the show and getting a peach? Yes, because Portia cannot control the narrative about y'all's friendship the way that she wants to. But I don't know what more she could have done for you, Shamia. Portia said that it's not true. She has been advocating, she's been advocating to get Shamia on the show. Andy confirms it, okay? They end up going back and forth. They're talking over each other. I did not try to dissect that for y'all. Sorry. So Portia then said, "Look, I have been doing the same amount of press as you, maybe even more because I've been on the show longer." And Kelly and Shamia took that as shade. It's not shade, it's a fact. Portia is going to get more interviews than you, Shamia. That's not shade, baby. That's reality. That's reality. She's going to get more interviews than you. The issue is that Shamia and Portia are supposed to be friends, but they're competing with one another. Everything's a competition. Everything's a competition between y'all. So Portia said that she was getting asked the same questions that Shamia was, and not once did she ever disparage their friendship in the process. Now, y'all know me. I don't have time nor or the desire really to sit and watch all these interviews and all this back stuff. So if that is the case, y'all let me know down in the comments if Portia's lying about that or not. Kelly wants Shamia to use this moment to tell Portia how she really feels and said, "This is your moment." Portia said this is not her moment. Her moment would have been privately when we were on the phone. Shamia said at lunch that they had a clean slate. Y'all did not have a clean slate. You didn't walk away from that lunch feeling like anything got accomplished. You know you didn't, Shamia. Portia fake cried in the bathroom and then manipulated you to be done with the conversation. Shamia then said that after that, Portia began to distance herself and she felt it even more so around the time that Londi passed. I said, "Shamia, I know you're not holding it against this girl that her cousin died and she wasn't reaching out to you. Come on, Shamia. Come on, we got the elevator has to go all the way up at some point. What are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. I'm sorry, but it doesn't." Oh my gosh, Shamia. So Portia feels that Shamia cannot make a statement without disparaging her. So Shamia feels that Portia hanging out with the Brit was making a point on what side she was on. Portia said, "No, you being friends with Kelly is because you like her, right?" Kelly jumped in because Kelly got a habit of jumping in on other people's stuff. Like, let's be real. I mean, is Kelly Shamia's lapdog? Could be. right? So Kelly jumped in and it was like, it's different. It's different. How you gonna tell Porsha what her friendship with Britt is different because now you don't like Britt? Shut up, Kelly. So Cynthia said, look, the love is there, but the healing is not there. And she advises them not to throw the friendship away. I don't consider it as throwing the friendship away. When you get to be a certain age, you just kind of realize that certain people that were in your life before do not need to come into this next phase of life with you. I have had friends that I've been friends with for 20 plus years. We're not cool anymore. It's not, there's no love lost, not on my part at least, but I don't want those people in my life anymore. You get tired of having the same conversation, the same disagreement, the same corrections when it comes to people. So if from Porsha and Shamea's side, they both feel that they have exhausted themselves with trying to get the other party to understand what they are going through, then damn it, be done with the friendship. Be done with it. If y'all find your way back together at some point in the future, then y'all find your way back together at some point in the future. But I promise you, I have never left a friendship and looked back about it. I've never left a friendship and regretted it. Because if you are at the point where you are ready to walk away from a friendship, there's a reason. There's a reason, okay? So Andy asked if there is something that they need to hear from the other to move forward. Porsha said no. Said this was the hardest year of her life and she just does not have anything more to offer. Porsha has said several times she did not have the bandwidth, she did not have the mental capacity to be whatever Shamea was asking her to be. Shamea then goes on to say, well, that's the difference with us. Because when I didn't have the bandwidth, I would dig deep to be there for her. I did that. And it's like, Shamea, yeah, you did that. And what did you get from it? You got nothing in return for it. You made that decision. Portia's not asking you to be her lapdog. You're doing it willingly. That's on you. So Shamea wants peace for the both of them. Andy then tells Shamea, look, you need to figure out a way to vocalize your hurt, okay? Because when you keep things bottled up and then you start to throw out little seeds of doubt, little seeds of despair, we end up with this big shit show that we have now. Shamea gets emotional and said that she chooses to sweep things under the rug and just move past them. And you too grown for that, Shamea. Let's be real. If you can't tell your best friend how hurt you are, how upset you are by something that she said or did to you, y'all are not really best friends. Y'all aren't, okay? So we then see the guys are backstage getting ready. Dennis is backstage saying that he is there to defend baby mama Andrew. I said, oh, so you're going to tell the truth. Cool. So we come back from commercial break and we are into Drew's package, okay? So Andy asks if there have been any changes in her kids' behavior. Now, remember, Drew's mama was on the show saying that, the kids don't even listen to me, okay? Big mama. And Drew got all emotional, whatever the case. Drew said that the kids are now in therapy and that is helping. And she had to remind herself that this is normal. This is not dysfunctional. It's okay. Yeah, I think having some kids go into therapy when they're going through a divorce, I think that's beneficial, right? Especially because y'all have such a very public divorce where it's all over the internet and I'm sure people at school are saying things, yada, yada, yada. So Andy brings up the clip of Drew and Ralph cooking that everybody was like, oh, I think it was like the Memorial Day or something. Drew said, look, that was them cooking together and it was supposed to be a moment of us co-parenting. That's all it was supposed to be. And she said Ralph took it and captioned it and turned it into something that it was not, okay? Cynthia said that it was a cute moment of them being happy and she was actually happy to see it. Like it was a good moment for them. Angela said, girl, you got a man that want to cook. I mean, make it do what it do. So we get a viewer question about Drew and Ralph not being able to tell the kids about the divorce. Drew said it's in the court order. That's public record. Porsha co-signs that does happen. If the judge say you can't do something, then you can't do it. Drew then talks about how Ralph has had women down in the basement because the ladies were like, you know, y'all still living together, maybe he come upstairs, maybe you go down there, whatever the case. And Drew said, no, there's cameras downstairs. Matter of fact, I have seen women be downstairs. Okay. So Drew said they live in a gated community to the point where you have to show a driver's license to get in. So I guess Drew looked up the records, found out the woman's name, looked her up on Instagram, and I didn't quite understand this. The woman approached her at the kid's school and said, "Who are you?" Or I didn't understand. So was Drew saying the woman was asking who she was, or the woman was like, "Are you like?" But that's what happened. Okay, Kelly said that she hoped that her and Drew hit it off. Angela said, "No, you didn't." I feel that way too because Drew wasn't in the alliance that y'all had, right? So Drew said, "Look, I appreciate that you feel that way, but you never gave me a chance, Kelly. You were throwing out a lot of things and you continually called me a liar." Drew felt that Kelly was looking for a moment, and I agree with that. I 1000% agree with that. I think Kelly has spent this entire season looking for a moment, okay? So Kelly said that Drew lied about purchasing something at the event. Drew explained that she ordered something from the shopper because they did not have her son's size. So Kelly is like, yeah, but it was about charity. So Lapdog jumps in because now Kelly and Shamea lapdog for each other. And Shamea was like, yeah, but you needed to buy something that day because the money went towards a charity. And Drew was like, well, Kelly, if you could have just explained that or talked to me about it, I could have made sure that that purchase did go to it. So I guess my confusion is if Drew is ordering something that day, does that not count as a sale? I don't get that. If Drew is ordering something that she saw in the store that day but needed a different size, wouldn't that still go to charity or no? But I also feel like, Kelly, you were just trying to find a reason to beef with Drew. You were trying to find a reason to beef with Drew. They get the question of whether Michael Jordan is really Drew's cousin. Drew was like, it was a joke because her last name is Jordan. I guess I'm the only one that thought that it was a joke because y'all were big mad at Drew. So we then talk about the scene where Drew made the joke about how her album is going to put Pilar through college. So Andy asks Porsha now, after seeing the scene versus what Shamea said, how do you feel about it? Porsha said, when I saw the scene, it was cringy, but it didn't piss me off. It was more so how Shamea relayed the info. So now Shamea gets, I guess I mind my business. I guess you should have, because that was really nothing for you to run back and even tell her. That was nothing for you to run back and tell Porsha, and you know it. You know it. You were trying to be messy. So there was a viewer question about Porsha going to dinner with Ralph. Porsha deflects about it. Shamea said that they kept calling her a lapdog, so she wanted to act like one, and that was why she invited um Porsha to meet with Ralph. Shamea, baby, you are going out horrifically, okay? So then Shamea said that Angela is the lapdog for Drew, and Angela said, girl, I'm too big to be on anybody's lap. So they all have a good laugh about that. We get a viewer question about Ty. Y'all know Ty Young, the real Mrs. Steal Your Girl, okay? Because Ty be bagging the bitches across the reality show. So they get the viewer question about Ty and how long Drew was on the phone with Ty. Drew said 3,000 minutes isn't that long, and where are their receipts? Wasn't it 3,000 minutes a month, Drew? It wasn't total, it was a month. Phaedra was like, that's about 10 minutes a day. That is 10 minutes a day. Now, is that inordinate? No, it's not. But to talk to somebody literally every single day for 10 minutes, there's something going on. I don't talk to any of my best friends every single day for 10 minutes. There's something going on, okay? And that's just Phaedra's math. You know what I mean? Y'all could have been on the phone for 5, 6 hours. We saw all the pictures and stuff that got released, Drew. So Drew said that Black is just a friend. She said that Ty is just a friend. She then said that Black, I guess, is the biggest hookah owner in the world. And so she passes out portable hookahs to all the ladies. No nicotine, no tobacco, no nothing. I said, oh. I was with Andy. You sure y'all just friends? Because you're advertising for him right now. Drew said that when she gets a boyfriend, she'll definitely bring him onto the show. Portia said, or a girlfriend. Drew said, no, 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 no. That would be you. Portia, Portia said, yeah, because if I find me a tie, she gonna be sitting. Portia said, if I find me a tie, she gonna be sitting right behind me on the stage. The way that Ty is somewhere probably like, hey. Hey, hey, hey. I promise y'all, if Ty show up on the Housewives, I am going to scream, okay? So the guys then come out. Ralph is sitting behind Phaedra. I said, okay. So Andy said, well, we invited Gerald. Where is he? Shamea said he's at home with his kids. They your kids too. I guess they just his kids right now, though. Andy said, oh, you couldn't get a sitter? She was like, well, that's not really his thing. That's not really his thing. I want the same energy that y'all gave Robin and Juan. Same energy. Same energy. Gerald didn't show up because he didn't want to. Somebody said that Juan or Gerald didn't show up because he actually works. Juan was coaching the entire time. Juan was working. One was working. Y'all just don't like Robin and y'all only don't like Robin because she's friends with Giselle. But I feel like let's give them the same energy. Same energy. So Charles said that he is there to support his wife, says she's gonna kill it and he gonna kill it too. So Dennis said that he talked to Porsha about working with Drew, said that he also talked to Ralph and felt that it was Drew's place to handle the woman's side. Drew said, well, that's a lie because Dennis, you said that you talked to Porsha. Dennis said, no, I never said that. I never said that. I also never said that Drew was trying to sleep with me. So Ralph said that Ralph is his friend and it's ridiculous to insinuate a relationship outside of sex. Ralph said that he saw the text and it's exactly what Porsha said, but that's not what you said before though, Ralph. So then Ralph said that that's funny because Dennis tried to talk to me. Ralph said that Drew said that Dennis tried to talk to her. Drew calls him a liar. Look, we're not going to believe anything that Ralph says because we know that Ralph is a liar. No part of me believes that Drew tried to talk to Dennis, right? I think it was earlier where Drew said that, was it earlier or maybe it's later? I'm gonna mention it now. Where Drew said that Dennis is not her type. Look at Ralph. And then that's when Porsha was like, Black ain't that good looking. Don't talk about my dude. I feel like they had fun this part of their reunion outside of, Porsha and Shamea. So Ralph said that he's not a liar. Then he starts smiling. And I'm like, okay, y'all gonna sit here and let Ralph gaslight everybody, whatever. So Andy then asks if Dennis sees himself getting back with Porsha. Dennis said, I mean, she back on the market, so who knows? They need to just get back together. I mean, Porsha, you got the bag that you want to go and get back with Dennis. So he said that in regards to Porsha and Shamea, he's cool with Gerald. He's known Shamea for years, but he also knows enough about women's business to stay out of it because they could be back cool the next day. Yes, stay out of it. So Dennis said that him dating Brett or giving Brett the necklace was a long time ago, but then said that he won't say the rest of what Kelly has left out about him sliding into her DMs. Kelly is like, no, it was on business. It wasn't about anything. We didn't even talk on the phone. We only talked once or twice. I said, oh, okay. There's nothing to that. We'll just leave that there. Ralph, we get to Ralph's little package. Ralph said that just because someone came in the gate does not mean they came in the house. Said it was about fitness content, so I guess they were just in the backyard. Okay. Ralph said that when it comes to Drew, that they're cool when the cameras are off and she loves him, but when the cameras are on, it's a different story. And he just wants to love her and support her. And he is thankful for the family that she is giving him and all this other type of stuff. And I'm like, Drew and Ralph, what is going on here? I've been saying this for the past couple of seasons. I do not believe the two of them are getting a divorce. I don't see it. I just don't believe it. I absolutely don't. So Drew said that those are great words and she would love to see the action behind that. Drew also then said that the energy is coming because of the smear campaign on social media. You know, Ralph be talking real breezy, okay? He made some disparaging comments about her mother that Drew didn't appreciate, saying that, you know, he gave her mama money, she need to shut up, she spent all her father's money, all that type of stuff. Ralph said he did not apologize and he feels basically that her mom should stay out of their marriage. Okay. He said that he was looking at some text messages from way back when, and it's about how much they used to love each other, and watching the love start to diminish, he just feels a way about it. Cynthia tells Ralph, just be mindful of what you put on social media. Just be mindful of it, okay? So we then get to Charles. Charles said, "Yeah, I watched some of the show. I watched some of the shows." Charles watched whatever Angela made him watch. He said that, you know, in regards to how Angela did, he thought she did well. He said, if you're going to jump in the pool, you got to be ready to swim. He said that he is not the type of guy to put on for the cameras and be all over her for the sake of TV, okay? He said, look, if I didn't love Angela, I wouldn't be with Angela. She knows that. He then goes on to say that he was not hiding being married. Says, shoot, I don't know who's married either. I hollered. This is real reality here. Charles said, I'm going to come out here and say whatever it is I want to say. Charles said that the women on the show, y'all don't know him, okay? He said, it was like Shamea. Shamea said, well, I met you. He said, no. I met you for the first time on the show. Now, Shamea should have let it go. But Shamea was like, no, I met you several times. Remember at Nick's wedding? Charles said, you didn't meet me. I was just there. You didn't meet me. I was just there. I'm going to have to start using that. He then goes on to say he don't even remember her being there. I said, ah. So Angela starts saying that Shamea was trying to throw digs, and that's why she didn't understand that. Shamea was like, no, I never threw digs at your marriage. I just didn't. So Andy asked Charles, do you remember meeting Phaedra? He was like, no. And you can tell after the way Charles just ate Shamea up, Phaedra really didn't want to have this conversation. So Phaedra was like, well, I've been in several rooms with you. We've been in several rooms together. Charles said, what rooms we been in? We could have been in the bathroom. Charles. Not the bathroom. So Charles said, look, us being in rooms together, that's not us meeting. Phaedra said, well, I know Sheree very well. And I remember when you dated Sheree. So I have been in your presence numerous times. Charles said, where? Just because you know Sheree, that don't mean you know me. Why y'all think is y'all be in the room with somebody, you know somebody? And that's facts, though. Facts on facts on facts, right? So Angela said that Phaedra kept saying that she did not know that Charles was married to be shady. Kept saying that he was keeping her a secret. And Phaedra was like, I just meant like a secret as in unknown. Come on, girl, this is Housewives. No. Phaedra, you were talking cash shit about all these women trying to get a moment and trying to be shady. You kept your foot on Angela's neck. The first 2 episodes you were on, and nobody understood why. You were trying to have a moment, Phaedra. You were trying to be funny. And I guess you figured that Charles wasn't going to show up, and he showed up and he checked your ass. Okay? So then Charles said, why y'all so concerned about me? Why y'all want to know about me? Listen, where y'all husbands at? Shamea was like, well, mine's at home. Shamea, shut up. Don't bring attention to the fact that your husband couldn't even show up for you, but you are willing to put your body through hell and high water to give this sir a boy. Stop it. So Andy then asked when he dated Sheree. Charles said it was back in 2000. He said we was everywhere, here, there, Dubai. So Angela was like, okay, okay, okay. Charleston, sure, y'all got me here. Let's talk. So Charleston talks about the Wendy Williams situation, said that when Angela told Wendy Williams it's just a baby, it was not about him, but Wendy turned the story around and made it into a bigger deal. So Angela was like, tell him about Wendy inviting you over for wine. Why did you bring this up, Angela? So he was like, yeah, and she invited me over for some wine. So then Angela says, so you would go on a date with Wendy Williams? He said, I would have a glass of wine with her. That's not what I asked. Would you go on a date with Wendy Williams? I would have a glass of wine with her. I said, Angela, see, you doing too much talking. Why would y'all even bring up the story about the wine? So they then briefly touch on the Madison Square Garden event. Remember, Charles was removed and banned for life. And Charles said that, they went through a rough period. Because of that, they separated momentarily. They lived apart. And Charles said that they went to therapy, and that therapy really helped them because it allowed him to be more honest about his feelings and that type of stuff, okay? Kelly then asked Ralph what her ex-husband told him. Ralph said, look, it was the one conversation. We talked about the divorce. That's it. Very classy on your part, Ralph. Finally, you acting like you got some sense. Kelly then gives him kudos that he wants to continue to take care of his children. I'm sorry, but why are we giving him a kudos for doing what he is supposed to be doing? No. Should Drew be thankful for that? Yes, because looking at Kelly's situation, but we're not going to give Ralph a kudos or a hand clap for doing what he is supposed to be doing. Some final moments. Drew is happy that her and Porsha are in a better place. Awesome sauce. Kelly is going to pick and choose who she's a good friend to moving forward. She hopes that Shamea and Porsha can rekindle their friendship and that they can pick up the friendship that she lost with Brett. Girl, what? Okay. Phaedra said it was a wild 2 weeks. Sure. Shamea hopes moving forward that she can build alliances with all the ladies. I said, okay. Porsha hates the way that the season ended with Shamea, said it was a learning season for her. She has had many hard seasons on the show, but still I rise, I guess. Still I rise. And then she got some custom fans and they pop in their fans so that Andy can learn. They probably didn't get the music clear for Boots on the Ground, and they sit and pop the fans. Thank you all for a lovely, lovely season. I feel like we had a blast over here. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, more content is on the way. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.